Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Nacho Problems, where we turn ordinary recipes into extraordinary nachos. I'm Nacho Queen, but you can call me M. So since starting this channel, I can't watch any cooking videos without wondering, can I turn that into nachos? Which is how I came up with this week's idea to make cheesecake nachos. For part of these nachos, we'll be using a recipe with permission from one of my favorite cooking channels, and I'm super excited to share it with you. Let's get started. Step 1, the toppings. Now there are so many options for toppings on this one. You could do a chocolate, caramel, or even peanut butter sauce, any number of different fruits, whatever. But I love strawberry with cheesecake, so we're going to be making a strawberry compote. For that we need 1 pound strawberries. If they're in season, you could use fresh, otherwise frozen is fine. Some sugar. How much you need is dependent on how sweet your berries already are, but start with about 2 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons orange juice, and depending on how thick you want your compote, about 1 tablespoon cornstarch mixed with the same amount of water. It's more likely you'll need this for frozen berries. Add the berries, the sugar, and the OJ to a small saucepan and bring it to a boil. Now reduce the heat and simmer for about 10 minutes. At this point, taste your compote and add more sugar as needed. I added another 2 tablespoons as mine was pretty tart. Now, if you need to thicken up your sauce, combine the cornstarch and water and then add them to the pot. Bring it back to a boil, stirring constantly. Then just remove it from the heat and allow to cool. It's that simple. Now let's move on. Step 2, the chips. For our chips, we'll be making homemade graham crackers. This recipe comes from Gemma Stafford over on Bigger Bolder Baking. You should definitely check out her channel as she has got a lot of great recipes. Links in the description as well as on screen. For the cookies, we'll need 2 cups whole wheat flour, 1 cup brown sugar, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 7 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons whole milk, a 1/3 cup of honey, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. We'll start by mixing all of our dry ingredients in a large bowl. Now, there is such thing as graham flour, and it's basically a coarser ground whole wheat flour. But I already had plain whole wheat flour on hand, so why buy extra ingredients if you don't have to, right? We'll just stir all of that together. Now we're going to add in the room temperature butter and work it in until it resembles wet sand. You can use a spoon or spatula, but it's honestly much easier to just use your hands. Once that's done, let's mix up the rest of our ingredients in a measuring cup. As you can see, I've already measured out the honey. Now I'll just add in the milk, and finally the vanilla. Give that all a little whisk. A fork probably would have worked better here, but use whatever you have handy. Now we're going to pour that into our bowl and make sure to scrape out any honey still clinging to the bottom and mix it all together until it forms a soft dough. Again, this part is easier to use your hands, but can be done with a spoon or spatula. Now we're going to cover this and refrigerate for at least an hour or however long it takes me to make dinner, because apparently the family can't live off nachos alone. Okay, so the hordes have been fed and we can get back to our graham crackers. We've taken the dough out of the fridge and now we need to roll it out. Because this is a very soft dough, you'll need to coat your work surface and the rolling pin with flour and rotate your dough often to keep it from sticking. Now you'll notice the edges will crack as you roll it out. Just press those back together and keep going. I'm going to roll this out to about a 1/4 inch thick. Now at this point, you can cut it into whatever shape you want. I bought some little cookie cutters for the sole purpose of making things look like chips, so we're going to try some ovals, some circles, and some triangles to see what we like best. We'll just place these on a parchment-lined baking sheet and bake them at 350 for about 10 minutes. Now I did try adding the little divots to the chips to make them look like graham crackers, but they're not really necessary. So there's our chips. Let's move on. Step 3, the cheese. For our cheese, we're going to be making a simple no-bake cheesecake. For that we need 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of sour cream, 3/4 cup of powdered sugar, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/4 to 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream. We're going to start by beating our cream cheese until it's smooth. Then mix in the powdered sugar 2 tablespoons at a time, scraping the sides as needed. Now mix in your sour cream, your lemon juice, and the vanilla. Once all of that is well combined, you can start by adding 1/4 cup of cream. As always, we're trying for a nice drizzly consistency, so add more if it's too thick. I think that's good. Now it's everyone's favorite part. Step 4, let's eat. Now I decided I like the oval cookies the best, so we're going to lay down some of those. Now we're going to spoon on some of our cheese. Top it with some of that lovely strawberry compote we made. And finally, Olson picked up some white chocolate on his way home, and he thought that would be nice grated over the top. Now, since that was his idea, he got the honor of the first bite. I think he likes them. Most of us really enjoyed these. Youngson doesn't like cheesecake, so he just had some of the graham crackers, which despite making 2 dozen, were all gone within a few days. Well, that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, give it a like, and please consider subscribing if you want to see more nacho videos. If you have an idea for a future video, you can leave a comment below, or better yet, tag me on Twitter. I'm at NachoProblemsYT. And if you're looking for nacho merch, there's a link in the description. Now, spring has arrived at Casa del Nacho, and that means it's time to stock up on tissues and allergy meds. But hopefully, that's not your problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.